Hi, this is Rochelle with Live in Vibrancy, and I'm gonna make this is a follow-up video to the one that I made about working with your energy system. And so that video was that video came at about a time when I realized how very in my head I was. And so the change that I made was to create a juxtaposition of not so much in my head in the beginning and then very in my head at the end. So in my head, I struggled to finish that video because I was way overthinking it. And it wasn't getting better. So I mean, it lands for some and it doesn't for others. And I mean, in my opinion, artistic endeavors are always really a hit and miss. They don't always land with everyone, and artists aren't appreciated in their own time. And yeah, so I thought I would make a follow-up video. Primarily, I wanted to do that because for me, getting in my head it's definitely like a protection pattern that I go into. I recently removed not every single, but almost every safety feature in my life so that I can pursue different things. And what that does when we do that is it can push us past, at least it certainly did for me, push me past my threshold of tolerance for stress. And so when we have a high level of stress, our patterns kick in. And so for me, hiding behind what I knew was how I created connection, which essentially for children equals survival in my family of origin. And so, I mean, there's a lot of like doctors and lawyers and judges and blah, blah, blah. And so me, as my sister would lovingly call me, a rune-throwing witch, the way that I connect with them is to push all that away and then really get in my head with facts and statistics and, and while I'm not really putting citations in my videos, if you want me to give you a reference, just email me because that's a waste of my time. But it is a way generally that I kind of go into this space of like hiding. And so I hadn't really realized how much of that I've actually been in. And so I tell you this not because like, it's my violin story. No, I want you to take a look at some of the patterns that you might have, particularly when you're going in your head, because we don't create amazing things in our brains. You can work with your mind in a more expansive way, but you're essentially accessing a part of your mind that's outside of your beta, especially high beta brainwaves. And so when your patterns are coming up, you're definitely in beta, if not high beta. And so really, I was trying, like I said, to make an illustration and didn't land. I don't say that's going to be the last time. Anyway, so I thought, well, I will come back and I will in more, I guess, sort of in my body way, really talk about what that looks like, working with your own energy system. So the first thing I want you to recognize is that you are part of an energy system. Whether you believe it or not, you are part of a universal energy system, and therefore, connecting with nature, connecting to the earth, getting sunshine, drinking water. And as I said in the most complex way possible in the last video, the combination of water and light actually changes water. And in your body, it becomes almost like a supercharger because water and light give water then holds charge. And so these are ways that you can really begin to, these are going to facilitate your mental health. This is well known. I'm definitely not telling you anything you probably haven't heard before, but there's actually, if you want to be able to think differently, think more in possibility, then you want to look after the vehicle of consciousness you're living in. It's like if you have a car and you want to get somewhere, but you never change the oil or check the tires. I mean, there's a good chance you might not get there because you're not really supporting the vehicle. And again, I know there is this idea that all is mind and that must mean the brain, but as I've talked about before, it really does not. What you eat affects your mindset. That's actually becoming more well known. I shouldn't say it's well known, but it is becoming more well known. And so other ways, being in nature, you do begin to this does begin to affect you. There's also a lot of studies that will confirm this. It's good for your mental and emotional health. And when I talk, my brain starts getting real fast and then splitting off. So other things to consider is that, as I mentioned, your energy field is a torus shape. And so it intermingles with other people's fields. You take on their energy, you pass your energy. And this is where it really matters to understand what I'm talking about when I say that you want your energy to run in an open system versus a closed or an isolated system. Okay, so I'm going to use my handy dandy. Let's see if I can keep it on camera. Okay, so here's you. Here is your energy field. Looks kind of like this, right? You got all your chakras. I'm not going to draw those. So your energy field is essentially intermingling with everyone else's field. Now, your energy field, it's going to attract fields, it's going to intermingle with fields, it's going to retract some fields, and that's fine too. And so what this means is that you are taking in energy not just from your brain, but you are taking in energy from a field outside of your body. Now, I guess I need more pens. If you are an open system, someone is going to say something and it is going to come in. You are going to allow the energy to move through your body. You're going to feel it and you're going to let it move through. And if it stirs up any stories, you're going to allow those to move through too. So what this means is if I'm operating as an open system, I can take in what someone says. I can notice any energy that it stirs up in me because this is a meaning that I've made about myself. This is any beliefs that I might have that are connected to emotions. This might be something connected to previous experiences that I haven't resolved. And so if I have taught, because your body naturally knows how to do this, but most of us are conditioned out of this. And in the last video, I talked about why. But essentially, you want to allow the energy to move through you, right? And this is essentially where you want to understand how to ground yourself because it's going to anchor you in so that essentially you're able to let that energy move through you and not have it push you. Often what happens is the energy that we are taking in from around us will cause some sort of sensation and then we react. And this is often the closed system. So let me do a diagram about the closed system. Okay, so here you are again. I'm not going to draw your energy field because you get the point. So something comes in, and if it's a closed system, basically the energy from something, whether that is, and again, your unconscious is your body, and this also includes this energy field. So you essentially might sense something that your conscious mind is never aware of, and this causes the disturbance inside, which your brain then goes, wait, I know, and it starts digging around in the dusty old box of terrible stories and goes, It's this. All right. And so then we identify with this story, and the next thing you know, this is who we're showing up as. So when you're in a closed system, you already have all these, pink is too happy for this. You have got all these like painful stories, and we carry them at our, our different chakra points. We hold this energy in our different systems. And so essentially the energy is going to come in and it's going to stir something up that's already in here. But because we're not allowing our body to process it through, instead, we're allowing the brain, because this is essentially where most of your awareness is when you're in a closed system. Your body is not, most of the time people are not actually even fully aware of what's going on in there. The more you are aware of your body, you will notice it is literally doing something all the time. And it's not always a great feeling. I can't do that with just one finger. So it doesn't always feel great. And some of that is the meanings that we've given these sensations. Some of it is our stress tolerance. And I'm going to talk about that because I've already made a video, which, there's a bunch of them coming out. So anyway, I just thought I would pattern interrupt with this guy. Anyway, so there is a reason that you sit with the energy, and you don't always need to do that. And so I explore that, but it really has to do with changing the associations that you have to the sensations in your body and changing your your connection to the story and so on. And so I'm not really gonna get off topic. But basically, that helps you process your experience of life differently. And a lot of the ways that people get stuck, particularly if they're doing like shadow work and whatnot, and they're not seeing the results they want, it's because essentially you create, and the way that you process the meanings and the experiences and the sensations that you have in life determines basically the life that you have, the results that you get. And so I also have a video coming out on that. But let's stick to this one. So basically what happens is it stirs up this negative energy. And because you're in a closed system, the mind goes, wait, I know what that is. And the next thing you know, this is part of your identity. I know what this is. This is this because this happened before. Remember that time? And it may not show up exactly that way, but essentially you start to tell a story that is related to whatever this trigger is. Because in a closed system means energy is coming in and affecting what's already in there, but it's not necessarily leaving. So think of a pot on the stove. As you apply heat to the pot, the water is already in there, and there's a lid on the pot, which essentially, so now it's bubbling inside, right? The heat is coming in, the energy from the heat is coming in, and it's affecting the water. So these are all your like terrible meanings and emotional memories that you have. Those are the water. And the heat comes in and it agitates it, and it will agitate it until there's a trigger, right? And so that's where people like lash out or get angry or what have you. Now, if it's an isolated system, the energy is going to come in, but you have, in essence, let's just get it. We'll run out of paper if I just flip the page all the time. Okay, so you essentially have literally shut down your access to your emotional system. You may feel some sort of tension, and in fact, a lot of people, once they're operating from a closed system, are very emotionally shut down. So they're almost primarily in their head. They're just thinking a negative story. They're not even really feeling it in their body. And therefore, from that place, you literally have no idea what your body is attracting in. But in those cases, people don't tend to be bringing in the things they really want to. They're just getting whatever matches whatever's in this isolated system, because essentially nothing is getting in or getting out. It's just more or less reinforcing what's already there. It's sort of just a circulation of the same. And you'll see this, this manifests in people as a lot of like passive aggressive behaviors, or a lot of like sadness or depression, because essentially you're just holding that energy in. And so this is what I'm talking about. As you begin to move out of the two more closed off systems, you can begin to do that. And again, it's not a magic pill. These things have to work in conjunction with one another. But you can begin to do that by moving your body, and not just moving your body in like sportsy kinds of ways. I'm talking about moving your body in specific ways that have run down through generations, like eons of knowledge. This is like yoga, tai chi, qigong. And again, when you start to get into like energy medicine, Kundalini yoga is other ways that you can begin to move this energy through the body. And that way you start to break up these packed, dense energy systems that are literally, and again, it's going to be messy. Don't expect it's going to be like, I'm going to do this and then everything's going to be fantastic. No, I'm sorry, no. But you want to begin to like move the energy in your body, work with the psychology, recognize that the stories that you're telling yourself are either moving you forward or keeping you stuck. And then also let the energy move out of your body. Like learn to let it pass through you. I can tell you as I'm, my computer doesn't like this video. It says that's enough. So rude. So anyway, you want to begin to let the energy move through your body. I know that while I'm doing this, so perhaps I am in a state right now of like just learning to recognize all the things I'm in resistance to. And I have a video coming out about what you resist persists, because I just had like an example of this come like so clear to me. So you want to begin to let that energy move through your body. And I'm in a like place of allowing. So I give you absolutely the right to hate everything that I have to say, to completely reject it, and not make anything about me, and not make it mean anything about you, and just allow it and let it move through. Because I have a pattern of shutting down. As I mentioned, like I am really adept at turning into like a mall mannequin, basically. But that version of me thinks and 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 like thinks herself into inertia. So I am sort of noticing like, well, what are the stories around this? And when I do this, I can begin to notice. I will start with, I'm going to notice where I'm clenching in my body. And then as I move into my body, stories are going to come up like, oh my God, you're going to fail. That's it. No, all the things you've ever wanted, you're never going to get them. And so I can if I'm really still and I'm like with that, I can notice there's like probably a story, an experience that I've had. And as I'm breathing and relaxing and like letting that story go, that was just an experience. It just happened. It doesn't have to mean anything about me, and I definitely don't have to project it into the future. And so I want to begin to do that internal work to let it go. I can literally feel, as I'm with that, I can feel the energy move down my arms and legs because I'm in my body so much that, and that's basically so that the story isn't connecting to the emotion, so that I can begin to unhook those. But I can feel the energy move, and you can feel that it weakens your muscles. Like I literally, in those moments, can feel like if I were holding something, my hand would just like slip open. And so this essentially is what essentially is what retracts in your energy field is these stories that you have about yourself. And so again, eating well, recognizing that you are taking in information from the environment all the time. I don't spend a lot of time on social media because even though it's on the other side of a screen, sometimes I'm like, whew, this is heavy. So I clearly have some stories there, but I'll get there. And so I tell you these things because I want you to start becoming more aware I want you to start noticing what's actually happening in here. And some people are going to say, well, nothing's happening in there. I don't feel anything in my body. And that's just essentially where you kind of have moved out of your body. And again, that's a protection mechanism. And I have talked about that before. And so you then have to practice your way in, because essentially your body is literally having a sensation all the time, like always. It's because that's how it's basically processing. Is this danger? Is this safe? Is this danger? Is this safe? We don't create from our survival place. There is a place of deep, expansive stillness within you, and it doesn't feel like survival at all. And from there, you can move into just allowing. You move into that space of faith where it's just like, well, I don't need to worry about it, and I don't need to obsessively ask, well, how, because that's actually your ego identity's way of stopping you from looking at what's inside that doesn't want to be seen, because it doesn't want what you want, because it has some sort of negative association to it, or it's not familiar, or whatever, all the reasons that we block ourselves. Anyway, okay. So hopefully that video was a lot less like discombobulated with all the like facts, which I won't lie, sometimes make me a little excited. But I do recognize that that's kind of where I go when I am kind of in a place. And it's just sort of like an unconscious way that I just kind of like, whoop, you can't see me. So yeah. Anyway, hopefully this video was more clear. And yeah, again, I don't say that won't happen. I will not say that won't happen again. It very well might. And I reserve the right to be imperfect. Oh, so yeah, that reminds me. So other ways to really begin to work with your energy system is looking at all the ways that you're trying to be perfect, you're trying to please everyone else, you're listening to what someone else's guidance tells you as opposed to following your own inner guidance. And then also being able to look at your results in your life as a lesson. What am I learning from this? Because there's really no such thing as failure. It's a perception. If we feel like we're failing at something, then essentially we're really missing the message, because failure only means I stopped. But everything is either success or lesson. Success or lesson. That's it. And when you learn the lesson, you get to the success. So that, I'm pretty sure, is all the things that I wanted to say. If this video was more helpful than the last, please feel free to share, like, subscribe, or all the things. But also, I am not I'm not here to collect subscribers. I'm just here to speak to the people who need or want to hear what I have to say. So have a fantastic rest of your day, and I will see you in the next video.